Hello, and welcome back to MetalDisciple.com's Metalheads podcast. My name is George.
And I'm Buke.
And we are back.
Finally, back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle again. I'm sorry that we have been away for the last few weeks.
I'm the one with the baby, and this is all due to you.
I'm just the big baby. I've been sick, I've been working, I've been on vacation. It's just, there's been family, like 2 different family things. It's been crazy. It's the end of summer craziness. So
any of you listeners who hung on after our short month absence.
Yeah, anybody still out there? Out there?
We really appreciate it. We hope, because I know some people, subscribe to feeds and you expect it every week at a certain time. So we appreciate you, hanging on.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that a little later when we get to our MetalSucks boys. Anyway, so sorry we've been away. We're back. Hopefully we'll be a little more regular now. So last night, a little less than 12 hours ago, we left the album release party for A Sound of Thunder at Empire in Springfield, Virginia.
I'm still laughing about that. Not at A Sound of Thunder, but who they were playing with.
Yeah, the first couple bands were cover bands, and they were, But, a cover band is a cover band. It is what it is. Iris Divine, I think they were the third band.
Yeah, they were.
They were really cool.
They were.
I want to, live sound is not always a great representation of a band.
Especially at Empire.
Unless you're already familiar with the band, you may not be getting the best representation of what the band is like. But the music itself was pretty cool, and so I'm going to have to look them up, see if I can find a website. We talked to the singer.
It was cool use of samples that they had in with a lot of their playing and stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was like a Meshuggah kind of thing with clean vocals. Anyway, I'm going to look them up, see if I can find anything from them. We talked to the singer.
Mm-hmm. Told them to contact us.
Yeah, so.
But then the headliners last night was Raven.
Yeah. Well, it was A Sound of Thunder's album release party, but Raven was like, hey, we need to headline. I don't know. I guess there wasn't too much bad blood about that because we saw Nina getting down with Raven, so.
Those guys, I'm telling you, I was laughing my ass off the 45 minutes, hour we stuck around watching them. Those old guys, they get around, look like they were having a blast up on stage.
Yeah.
The lead singer, I don't know his name, but this is the first
John Gallagher.
The first time I had ever seen the headset, like infomercial microphone.
Yeah, so he could, Raven's always been a very physical band on stage.
Okay.
And so being, that he's the bass player as well, it makes sense for him to have a headset so he can be mobile and play and sing at the same time. So
now I was picturing like Tom from Slayer having that kind of wireless headset mic.
I don't know. Tom's more of a planted in place, just da, 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 da. So
those guys look like they were having a blast.
Oh yeah.
The fans were loving them, so it was a great time.
I've been a Raven fan since I was in high school, and so late. It was probably 87, 88, somewhere around there. I got into Raven. Metallica's first tour was opening for Raven. So these guys have been around.
Do you think they go around saying that to everybody?
I would. Like Metallica opened for us. Let's back up into the show a little bit. When Iris Divine was playing, I wanted to mention at Empire there's the stage, and then there's an open floor area, and then there's like a couple steps up and like a railing, and you can the sound guys are there, and off to either side of that, you can like lean on the railing, and we tend to go there and lean on the railing so you can see over top of everybody. And so Iris Divine is playing, and I look down, and to my left, Buke's to the left of me, and basically in front of him over the railing, there's this old man, probably like 60s, 70 maybe even, standing there with like tissue or toilet paper wadded up in his ears, with his hands over the ears of a little girl, maybe
granddaughter.
Maybe 8, I'm guessing. And I'm like, well, A, that's a little strange. B, somebody didn't come prepared. And so I'm like, well, I've got a pocket full of earplugs because I don't go to any shows without earplugs if I can help it. So I'm like, I can't let this stand. So I pull out a pair of earplugs and I tap the guy on the shoulder and I hand him the earplugs. And he just sort of looks at me and takes them. Doesn't like nod thanks or anything. He just takes them. And I'm thinking, put these in the little girl's ears. Obviously, you've got your hands over her ears. Nope. He goes and takes them and puts them in. He pulls the stuff out of his ears, puts the earplugs in, turns back to the girl, puts his hands over her ears, and continues watching the show. And I'm like, huh, okay. So I pull out another pair of earplugs and I hand them to Buke, and Buke taps him on the shoulder again, hands him another pair of earplugs. I'm like, duh, for the little girl. And he, taps her on the shoulder and he offers her the earplugs. And she looks at them and she's like, nah. She shakes her head and waves them off. I'm like, fine then, whatever. I can tell that she has also some sort of tissue in her ears, as well as her grandfather's hands over her ears. My earplugs were like a light blue. This becomes relevant because a few minutes later, a woman and her daughter,
same age, 8 and 7.
yeah, walk up to this girl, and the little girl hands her a pair of orange earplugs. And the little girl's like, oh, thanks, and pops in the orange earplugs. And I'm like, hey, what's wrong with my earplugs? They're blue? You don't like blue? So I think what the takeaway from this is that the 8-year-old girl community does not care for light blue earplugs. Orange earplugs are in this year. Blue out. Don't make the same mistake I did.
So it was a great time. That was a great time at the show.
Yeah. And I think the little girl might have actually been the daughter of the singer of Iris Divine, because they went over and saw him after. So it makes sense. Anyway, right before A Sound of Thunder took the stage, Buke and I are turned towards the back of the room, and we're just sort of looking around at the people. And I see this guy standing over by the bar. He's wearing a Port City Brewing Company t-shirt. He's got a jarhead haircut. And I'm like, hey, Buke, might that be Will from Port City Brewing, who is possibly attending tonight?
I said, it might be. Just at that time, my phone goes off, and he says, hey, I'm here. What are you wearing? And it was kind of one of those moments. My phone's in my hand. His is in his.
I'm wearing a sexy red dress.
We lock eyes and got to hook up with him. His company, Port City, was sponsoring.
Yes, they were sponsoring the show.
The show yesterday. We had exchanged tweets back and forth for a couple months with Will. We secured him a 6-pack of
4-pack.
A 4-pack of the Guar beer. So he's a local metalhead brewer.
And he'll be joining us on the podcast in the near future.
Yep. So that was for me my highlight of the evening. Finally.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Finally getting to meet a local fan, someone who appreciated the podcast. Very nice to talk to. Very pleasant. Very
yeah, I love talking to him.
Knowledgeable. So so in the next coming weeks, Will be joining us on the podcast. We'll talk beer. We'll talk music with him.
Yep.
We're really looking forward to it.
Yep, that was fun.
Thanks again, Will, for the everything you did for us last night.
Thanks for the beers.
Yeah.
Those were tasty. And it was good to finally meet you.
So if you're in the DC metro area and you see Port City Brewing in stores, buy them.
It tastes good.
It does taste really good. And also, do me a favor, if also you're on Twitter, follow him at PCBC Brew Metal. Again, PCBC Brew Metal. Again, he's a brewer for Port City Brewery. Nice thing about Will is he posts pictures online of as he's brewing different batches, what he's blasting in the brewery.
And he's really into the new Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, so maybe throw him out something to listen to, and he'll brew a batch of whatever as he's listening to whatever you suggest. So give him a follow.
Yeah, totally.
Can I go back to the show? One last thing that stuck with me as we're driving home, because you commented on it and it was a little too loud to speak. What is the unspoken rule of the denim vest patch? Because I know you have a back patch. Mm-hmm. Do you stick to one genre? Because you
that's right.
You commented on it last night. This guy...
He was all over the place. He's like, man, I got Styx and Whitesnake and
Metallica and
Slayer and,
the Strokes or something.
Yeah, just like really old, not even hard rock, but classic rock stuff mixed in with metal. And it was just the vest was just covered in them. And
yeah.
And he was with a couple other people that were similarly patched in confusing. I mean, hey, if you have a wide range of taste like that, great. I've never seen quite such a variety of patches.
No, it was George comment. George actually tapped me. He goes, "Are you seeing this guy's vest?" It was, I remember it, Metallica, Megadeth, I think, and then Whitesnake. On both sides, it was like Ozzy, Queen. Anything he saw, he's stitching it on.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know, when you had a vest?
Mine were all thrash.
Okay. See, that's what I would think. It would be like all thrash or all.
I had King
death.
Diamond, who's technically not thrash, but I had a Metallica back, the back piece.
What was your back piece? Which one?
Damage Inc.
Yeah. Nice one.
Yeah. And then I had Anthrax, Overkill, Testament, Megadeth, Slayer, King Diamond.
Do you still have it?
Yes, in fact, it's around here somewhere. I'll remind me, and I'll bust it out.
I want
Show
to
you
come in
before you leave.
I want to knock on the door one day and come in and have you just wearing that.
I'll do it. It's like 3 sizes too small now. I'm so fat now. So, people think women are catty. No. You don't know catty until you've been to a metal show and seen metal dudes judging metal dudes. That guy's vest is no good. No. Oh, I can't believe he's wearing the band's shirt to the show. I can't believe it.
I have a problem with that.
And, you're always looking for the guy with the really cool shirt. When you're the guy going, you're like, I have to wear this totally rare, obscure band shirt. The more obscure shirt, the better.
That was me at a barbecue. I got a lot of comments on my acid bath.
Exactly. So, metal guys are not above being fashionistas, which leads me into something I almost forgot about. The Brazilians. They're probably just from Virginia, but their heritage is of some sort of South American. And I have no idea whether this Brazilian or not. I call them the Brazilians because they look like Sepultura during their first couple of albums. It's like all black skinny jeans, black band t-shirt,
bullet belt,
long
flowing perfect black hair.
Yeah, they look and before I go any further, I want to state that I am not ragging on these guys. These guys look cool as shit.
Yes.
Okay. These guys.
You're jealous of these guys.
I'm jealous of these guys because they have the look that I wanted in 1987.
Yes.
And we see not maybe.
Oh, they have the cut off sleeves.
Yes, they have the look, and it is a cool ass look. And we see these guys, maybe not specifically these guys, but there's always like half a dozen of these guys anytime we go to Empire, and I'm always like, man, those guys look cool. I wish I was those guys.
For Raven came on. Remember they
were there for Raven.
An hour straight. This a circle.
Yeah, they were. It was the only pit of the night. Raven came on, and these guys just lost their shit. And I'm like, they're so cool.
They are so cool.
I was like, wow.
Just to be able to pull off skinny jeans and bullet belt.
Yeah,
and the long hair.
Yeah. So to the Brazilians, rock on, my metal brothers.
Yeah, you guys are badass.
Getting back to Will. You reached out to him this morning to ask him if there was anything he'd like us to talk about.
Reach out to anyone on Twitter. Yep.
And some of the things that Will wanted us to talk about are the theory of relativity, metal beer, and how Cannibal Corpse would annihilate ISIS. First of all, the theory of relativity. The theory of relativity, or simply relativity in physics, usually encompasses 2 theories by Albert Einstein, special relativity and general relativity. The theory of relativity transformed theoretical physics and astronomy during the 20th century. When first published, relativity superseded a 200-year-old theory of mechanics created primarily by Isaac Newton. Is that good enough, Will?
There it is.
What about metal beer? Got anything on that?
The Trooper.
The Trooper.
The Guar beer.
The Guar beer.
I love it. The branding.
Yeah. I know there's Motorhead. I think there's Motorhead wine and a mead, and I think there's a beer and like a vodka and everything. And we've talked about it before actually, and the Running Wild, I think has a mead, and it's not technically a band, but there was one I saw an ad for. It's called Ale Satan. That looked kind of cool.
I think it just blends well together. Delicious craft beer, heavy beers, heavy metal, just kind of works.
Heavy things go together.
Yeah, it just kind of works. The only problem I run into is when I find this stuff, I think in my head, collector's item.
Don't drink it.
Don't drink it, stupid. Just have it sitting there.
Yeah, I've got 2 of the Guar beers left, and I was like, drink one, keep one. But I already promised one to a friend. I had bought a 4-pack. Somebody slipped me 2 of them when I wasn't looking. And I drank them without knowing I was drinking from my 4-pack. So I only have 2 left. So I have a dilemma. I may just drink it and Save the can. There's also the Aussie beer. I have one of those.
Yes.
I haven't drank that yet. I'm on the fence about drinking it or not, or just keeping it.
There's a store still in town that has some. But no, any branding that metal can do, and I like the thing I like about metal beer so much is I think metal album covers alone, metal logos, metal art, in the whole music scene. Personally, I think it's the best.
Oh yeah.
So I love a nice beer label packaging.
Sure, and
I think it lends hand in hand. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it totally lends itself to being packaged on a bottle.
Yeah,
It's like it draws the eye. That's what a beer bottle should do, is draw the eye. And obviously, there's a lot of heavy metal artwork.
And to go along with that, you look at the nice tap. I forget what's it called? The handle.
The beer tap handle. Yeah.
Just like that Trooper. That handle. See that Trooper logo? Man, that looks slick.
Yeah, I almost bought one of those, but I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get a barrel of it, so why bother?
Just to have it.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Yeah. I've got a couple. I've got Sierra Nevada Pale Ale handle, and I've got a Red Hook Longhammer handle.
If there were more heavy metal stouts and porters, I'd be a happy man there, because that's what I like. George is an IPA guy. I'm a stout man. Well,
I like.
I am a stout man.
In more ways than one. We both are. I like all the beers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not it's bitter, I don't want to drink it. I'm like, I like Stone's Ruination, which is basically bile on a bottle.
Funny thing is, if you had to put, though, just thinking about this, heavy metal is definitely a beer type of beverage. It's I can't picture like Cannibal Corpse shots.
I could.
Could you?
I'm thinking, liquor. I mean, come on, like Jaeger and,
Yeah.
But wine is definitely not something I picture. Even though I guess, Motorhead has a wine, I don't picture Metalheads
Sitting around, sipping
maybe
wine.
maybe a bottle of cheap wine like Night Train, Thunderbird, and Mad Dog 2020. I've been there, but
We've all been there. College.
Yeah, I don't think they make any of those anymore.
Mad Dog 2020, they still do.
They do. I haven't seen it in years.
Probably the drunkest I got back in college was on Mad Dog.
I'm bummed. I had an empty bottle of Night Train that I used to have a bottle collection, and I got rid of it years ago. Now I'm like, man, they don't make it anymore. I should have kept that.
So, yeah, we'll be talking more about beer and metal when Will joins us in a couple weeks.
Yep.
We're looking forward to that.
Now, how exactly would Cannibal Corpse annihilate ISIS? Do you have any theories? I was like, could we, we're flying over there now to do like airstrikes and stuff. Could we, like, in a like death clock sort of way, just sort of like drop Cannibal Corpse over ISIS? And they like parachute down, and they're just like
Hammer smashed face.
hammer smashed face, and then ISIS, their heads just all explode,
Devoured by vermin.
devoured by vermin, mummified in barbed wire.
Yes. It fits.
Exactly. There's got to be a slew of Cannibal Corpse song titles that would fit here. Or would it be more of like they did down in Guantanamo with the Metallica? Would we just blasting the Cannibal Corpse until they give up?
Isn't that what they did at Waco, too? When they were in that standoff, they just blasted loud music at them all to keep them up and everything?
Yep.
Sleep deprivation.
Yeah. So if you have any other ideas about how Cannibal Corpse can defeat ISIS, let us know. All right, moving on. So I occasionally talk about how I think the Big Four should be the Big Seven. I'm not going into the details of that again. I've ranted about it enough. But the last time we brought it up, you asked me if I thought I could expand the Big Seven to the Big Ten. And at the time, put on the spot, I was like, I don't know. I have to think about it. I was reading an interview the other day with Gary Holt of Exodus and late of Slayer, and he was asked the very same question about should it be the Big Seven. And, he danced around the point of, he didn't want to say anything good or bad about anybody. He did feel that if there was going to be something like that, of course, Exodus should be in there, and I agree. Exodus, Testament, Overkill. But if I had... The point that he made that was like a slap myself in the head moment, if it was to go to 10, you got to bring in the Germans. I'm talking Creator, Destruction, and Sodom. Those three bands, their debut albums all came out like between 84 and 86. Same years that all the Big Four bands...
We're taking off.
Not all, well, okay, I mean, Metallica was like 83 and stuff, but the same time period.
Gears were starting to turn.
And so I'm like, they should totally be in there. So if there's a Big Ten, that's what it ought to be.
Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. Is there, if you had to say that difference between American thrash to a German thrash, Is there really a difference?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, before I get into that, Big Four, I've never really thought about it. I've always just thought about it as Big Four of thrash. But the fact that you made a distinction between American and German, I'm like, has it always been the Big Four of American thrash? So if it has, well, then I'm talking out of my ass here. But if it's a global grouping we're talking about, then definitely.
But even if it's a global Big Four.
The difference is that the Germans were way more pissed off. You listen to any, Creator, Destruction, Sodom. That shit is faster, thrashier, and just more all-around crazy than any of the Metallica, Slayer, even than Slayer.
Yeah, the word that just comes to mind listening to like early Creator. It sounds mature. It sounds like it's more experience. Like they already have a couple albums under their belt by the time they were starting.
Yeah. So, they should totally be in a Big Ten of thrash if there were such a thing.
Now, of those German bands and European bands, which is your favorite?
Of those three, probably Creator.
Saw their walk-in performance the other day. Really good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I have not seen them before. I know they've come by Jax/Empire. I always end up missing them.
See, but I would want to see them on like a Fillmore or something like that. Something with better sound. But,
yeah, definitely. All right, moving on. I recently had the opportunity to purchase and view a documentary that has been unattainable for 20 some odd years. It's called Dream Decievers, and it's a documentary about the Judas Priest trial in the late 80s, where a couple of their fans shot themselves. It was like a suicide pact thing, I think. Like the one guy, took a shotgun, put it in his mouth, dead. Second guy picked up the gun, put it under his chin, blew his chin off, didn't die. And so he was like, he was in the documentary. It was pretty gross looking. He was all like, because he had no jaw. And they just sort of pieced him together. And so he was talking about his experience and how the music made him do it. And his parents were all like, oh, well, we have to sue the band. And so there was a trial. And I was a fan during this period. And I remember this. And this is like around the time of the Parents Music Resource Center, the PMRC Senate hearings. Metal was really being demonized in the media in these years. And I was very pissed off about the whole thing. Very vocal in my fuck people that are trying to sue metal or trying to say metal, kill yourself and whatever, man. But watching this not very good documentary.
It's definitely not like a documentary from the guy that we like, which is the one who did
Sam Dunn.
Yeah.
No, but granted, this was made for TV in the late 80s, so the quality is what it is. I was a little disappointed I bought it on Amazon. And it came in a little cardboard sleeve. It didn't even come in a DVD case.
What?
I was like, what's this? I was like, okay. And it's only a little over an hour, I think. Maybe not even over an hour. Might be like 56 minutes or something. I don't remember. But instead of being self-righteous and angry like I was in the 80s, after watching this, I was really more just kind of sad. These people were just kind of pathetic, Their lives were really fucked up. Their kids did fucked up things, stupid things. They were drinking and doing drugs and stuff. And even, music is not going to make you kill yourself. That's something that's already got to be there. And you can, make excuses or find ways to justify your actions through it. But the music's not doing anything to you. And it just seemed so obvious from 20 some odd years later how pathetic the whole thing was. And I just felt sad for everybody involved. The guy who survived, he only lived for a couple more years. And then
oh, really?
He
took his life?
It didn't really say whether it was intentional. He'd been having a lot of surgeries and he was in a lot of pain. That they couldn't manage the pain very well. And he apparently OD'd while he was in the hospital on painkillers. Whether it was intentional or accidental, I couldn't find any indication. But it's pretty fucked up. So, if you want to learn some metal history and the way things used to be, check out Dream Decievers. I recommend renting it, though.
Was that happening at the same time of the whole Congress hearings on the lyrics?
I think it was a little bit after. I'd have to look. I thought like the Senate thing was like 86, 87, and it was around there, I think. I think it was maybe 87, 88.
Because I was looking about that, and there was a documentary about metal. I forget which one it was. Interesting that Dee Snider was like the flag bearer
Dee's the man.
for metal. And if you ever want to go back on YouTube, you could watch these hearings. Like I've watched some of them. And this has even been said in various documentaries that they expected Dee to come out and be some moron metalhead, and he comes out educated.
Dee is an intelligent and well-spoken man, and he was one of my biggest heroes in the 80s, and still is. Dee Snider is a metal god.
Yeah. So this event came out after that. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was after, yeah.
Cool.
Have you had a chance to listen to the new Eddie Trunk podcast yet?
I have not.
I've listened to a few episodes, and, I like watching his TV show, That Metal Show. So I was like, well, the show's not on. Let me see what the podcast is all about. And, it's pretty good for what it is. He has guests on that
you would expect him to.
Yeah, Eddie's not really into the newer type of metal. It's really into the hard rock. And
last night Eddie would have been losing his mind for Raven.
Yeah,
that's what he would have been excited for that.
Maybe, yeah. I'm not
saying, but that's the band he's into.
Definitely the era that he's into. Yeah, but other than King Diamond, his guests have been like Tom Kiefer from Cinderella, Brian May from Queen, who, I haven't listened to that one yet.
Yeah.
I want to, because I'm a big Queen fan. But nothing particularly heavy, although he did have Blitz on from Overkill. He does like Overkill, so I'll give him credit for that. But in terms of heavy music, Eddie's just not into really heavy music. If harsh vocals, forget about it.
Yeah, now if I can throw out there, if you're mentioning his podcast, if you asked me if I listened to that, I asked you yesterday heading to the show if you had heard Jamie Josta of Hatebreed.
Not yet.
His podcast, you hadn't. So anybody out there, if you are done with our podcast each week, you're listening for something new to check out the Josta podcast. He, you know him, he's metal through and through. He's always involved in some project.
Indeed.
So he's talking to, like last week was Randy Blythe. He talked to the guys from Guar, and so, he's in it.
Yeah.
So check out the Josta podcast. He does a great job.
Yep. I've always said that, I respect Eddie Trunk. I love what he's done for the heavy music over the last 30 some odd years, but we need somebody else to pick up the torch for the more contemporary and extreme metal.
I thought that was going to be Josta for a while when MTV, I haven't watched MTV in years, but they brought back Headbangers Ball. Mm-hmm. He was the host of that for a number of years in the mid-2000s, early 2000s, I think it was.
I haven't seen Headbangers Ball since probably the 90s.
Yeah, he was the host of it for a while. So I thought he may have been the new up-and-coming Eddie Trunk.
Yeah, well, that would have
Someone's
been cool.
going to have to, in a sense.
Someone's going to have to. Could be you. Could be me. Should be somebody. Let's get on that.
Yep.
All right, why don't we get into some news? Some of these are a little old because it's been a while since we've done this. Actually, I think only one of them is particularly old. And that would be the Gene Simmons "Rock is Dead" comment. I'm a big Kiss fan. I'm a moderate Gene Simmons fan.
Favorite Kiss song?
We already did this.
I know. I'm just going to throw it out there. I heard it again the other day. Love Gun.
Love Gun is definitely like top 3. Detroit Rock City is probably my favorite because I grew up in Michigan, so the old Detroit thing. I mentioned Strutter before. I really like that one. Yeah, that would probably be my top 3 right there. Detroit Rock City, Love Gun, Strutter.
Cool.
Not that was our top 3. Anyway, Gene's always running his mouth, and so sometimes you got to take what Gene says with a little grain of salt because Gene's just trying to, push buttons. But he was talking about music, and I believe it was in reference to what he would recommend to up-and-coming bands, and basically he was like, don't quit your day job, rock is dead. And a lot of people have been firing back at him going, that's not true, rock's not dead. And I'm just going to add my 2 cents and throw in anything you'd like to add. But I'm going to split hairs on this one. If you consider metal to be rock, or a subcategory of rock, then no, rock is not dead. Metal is most definitely still alive. However, specifically rock music, I can somewhat agree that rock is dead because nobody's doing good rock music anymore.
Stadium, arena rock.
There's no Beatles, Stones, no bands of that caliber. The only person that I can think of in that simple rock category of any value would be Jack White. I respect what he does. I don't always like it, but I get what he's doing, and I can get behind that. But it's all about pop music now in this country.
Mm-hmm. It's just dance craze.
There's bands. Maroon 5 is still a big thing, but I don't really call that rock music. That's something else. Rock and roll music, Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, the Police or anything, like the 80s had rock bands.
I said stadium rock, Queen.
Yeah, anything like that. In that sense,
Yeah.
yeah, rock is, if not dead, at least on its way out.
My point to this, that just came as you were saying that, what I can probably say is dead is the rock star.
Yeah.
In the sense of money from album sales and stuff
yeah.
like that. And I'm not saying these guys aren't living well. Jack White's, I'm sure he is. Right, Red Hot Chili Peppers. You could probably call them a rock pop band.
Yeah.
Those guys are doing well. They are a stadium band.
Certainly there are rock bands of old that are still around, but most of them aren't relevant anymore, But in terms of new bands, I don't hear much in the way of new rock music that in any way interests me.
It does interest me. The last band that I could say blew up, was filling stadiums, was your rock band. As I haven't rocked, don't say I'm saying that they're rock. Linkin Park. You know what I'm saying? It's just the popularity of a big rock band.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. It's not exactly rock, but
you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But I think the rock star is dead.
Yeah.
The Motley Crues and stuff, the Def Leppard,
it's 15 minutes of fame and then gone now. Anyway.
But into us, our metal world,
we never went away. We're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
Metal is a constant. So, speaking of rock bands, Apple recently held a announcement for the new iPhones.
And iOS 8, yep.
And U2 was there to play. And the big deal that everybody was talking about afterward, U2 gave away their new album for free through iTunes. As long as you had an iTunes account, it was going to be dumped into your iCloud account or whatever. And it took a day or two, but to me, inexplicably, people started complaining about it.
They started complaining if you had automatic downloads turned on of your App Store purchases, it would download to your phone.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
So,
that was my thought.
And,
big deal.
Yeah. If you don't want it, get rid of it. Hello, it's free. I'm a fan of U2. Last couple albums, they're all right, but not as cool as the early stuff. But there's a song on this album that's about Joey Ramone, and Joey Ramone is another one of my big idols. So I was like, hey, yeah, I want to hear that. So for me, I'm like, hey, that's awesome. And that is ballsy as far as I'm concerned. U2 is like, sure, we have all the money in the world, have our album for free. And that's probably part of what people were complaining about is, you don't need the money. And it's just kind of like, I don't know.
The techie nerd guy that I am, all the complaints that I saw were that people just didn't like it downloading or populating on their account. You know me, I hate rap. If there was a rap album, if it was put on my cloud account, big freaking deal.
You just delete it.
It sits there. It just, all it would be to me is a digital album cover picture and some tracks.
I'll take any music.
That's where it would sit.
And besides, it might be something that my wife would like, or, I'm not going to turn down free music from anybody. Justin Bieber's like, here's my album. I'm like, oh, all right, I won't listen to it, but I'll take it, And people like Sharon Osbourne, she was just fucking rude to the band. And I'm a big fan of Ozzy Osbourne, never been a fan of Sharon Osbourne.
You've never been a fan of her.
Ever since she threw eggs at Iron Maiden when they were on stage, fuck Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah, she's like a female Gene Simmons. It seems.
She's worse than Gene Simmons because she is. Gene has a little bit of class. I mean, a teeny smidgen of class. Okay, she has no class whatsoever. She is just a fucking bitch. And she was like, "Oh, you have to give away your music because nobody would want it."
U2 is one of the most successful bands of all time.
Yeah, yes. Don't be a dumb bitch.
That's a stupid comment to make.
Yes, it is fucking ridiculous. It's just to get her name out in the press. Fuck you. So, thank you, U2, and may you have years of success to come.
It sits in my cloud. I will never listen to it, but it doesn't bother it.
I haven't yet, but I'm going to.
Now, I saw people tweeting about it. I checked my account. Yeah, it's there. Okay.
It actually took me a little while to figure it out because I don't use iCloud at all.
I don't either. I don't have automatic downloads turned on.
No, so it took me a while to hunt it down and actually physically download it myself. So it wasn't terribly easy. That was part of why I was like, what's the big deal? I had to work to get it.
I know it's going to wait like a month or something before this comes out, like a physical copy, or people can buy it. If the album's given away to every iAccount user, does that factor in at all to the album distribution, album?
Like album sales?
Because in video games, me being a big video gamer, a lot of companies will tout shipment numbers.
I was wondering that myself. I was like, they were expecting up to like 500 million downloads. I'm like, well, that would be like the biggest selling album of all time. So I don't know, if you're giving it away, it may not count. But I don't know. I mean, I thought it did. So I don't know.
That's massive, though.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't had nearly that many. Or there were 500 million accounts, but I think only like a few million people have actually downloaded it, or I don't know. I saw something about that. Anyway, moving on. So there was a news article this past week that kind of made me scratch my head and go, wait a minute.
It came out of Riot Fest.
GWAR has a new co-front person. Her name is Vulvatron.
She's hot.
She has giant prosthetic boobies that shoot blood. The headline was something like, she's nobody's girlfriend. And as I was saying to you earlier, she looked really familiar to me. I'm positive I saw her at Gwarbecue, even though she was not announced as part of the band until Riot Fest. I swear she was there, whether she was on stage or standing off stage, wandering around the festival. I saw her.
She has a shaved head.
And like some blonde hair. And
she looked tall.
Yeah. So and I recognized her face and the hair. I was like, I've seen her somewhere. It had to be Gwarbecue. But anyway.
It's weird that it wasn't a character in a mask.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the women, I mean,
aren't.
Yeah. But she's no mere sex slave or secondary character. She is apparently a full-on co-lead singer with Blothar.
So on their next album,
we'll probably
have
be hearing
female vocals.
Yeah. I am very curious to hear this.
So am I.
Welcome to the fold, Vulvatron. Let us hear what you got.
And may I say also after the Gwarbecue, I've been listening to GWAR nonstop.
Me too. It's been, some of these albums I haven't listened to in years, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that one, and it's good stuff. I've been trying to find Scumdogs on vinyl, but
so have I.
It's been like $100 or more, and I'm like, no, not that one.
I have it on my Discogs wish list. I've never, you know how they send you an email?
Yeah.
I've never received an email for it being on sale.
Nope. One of these days. So, in case you weren't aware, there's a charity set up by Wendy Dio, the wife of late singer Ronnie James Dio, called the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. And last week, the Cancer Fund cut a check for $100,000 to a cancer center in Houston for gastroesophageal cancer. This is the place headed up by the doctor who treated Ronnie. That's pretty damn cool. $100,000 check. Boom. This is like the results of the double album, the Ronnie James Dio This Is Your Life tribute album that came out recently.
I'll say again, buy it if you don't have it. Great album.
Great fucking album. And I was reading that since this charity was started, I'm assuming in 2010, they've raised over $800,000.
That's awesome.
Metal for cancer, baby.
That's awesome.
That is fucking cool. So if you're sitting on some spare change and you're like, what can I do with this to better the world?
Buy this album.
Or just go to the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout for Cancer Fund. Donate a little bit of money. Do some good with it.
Didn't you tell me on an earlier episode that they're doing a second album?
Yes, they did say that they were going to, or that they were planning to anyway, because so many people wanted to be on it that they just couldn't fit everybody. And so they want to do a second one. Were you aware that Nicolas Cage has a son who plays metal?
Not till I was on MetalSucks the other day.
Exactly. Yep, his name is Wes Cage, and he used to be in a band called Eyes of Noctum. They released an album in 2009. I gave it a listen the other day. It's not bad. It sounded pretty Dimmu-like. It was, symphonic black metal, a more not traditional, but like contemporary sounding black metal. And it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't terribly original, but it was quality. Mm-hmm. That band has since broken up, and Wes is getting ready to release a solo album that's called Prehistoric Technology. It's supposed to be pre-ordering in January. And if you look online, you can find the first song called Tell Me Why, Matriarch of Misery. And this wasn't exactly black metal. He calls it his own new genre called ghost metal, which, that's maybe a little pretentious to coin your own term for a genre. But it was kind of cool. It was a little more commercial than what he was doing previously, but it was still kind of heavy, and I liked his voice. So, we've talked about some celebrity offspring doing bands, Bruce Dickinson's son, Steve Harris's kids. This is one that I can actually get behind and be like, yeah, this is kind of cool. So I saw that Metallica is getting ready to get back into writing mode for their next album. What do you think is going to happen with this new album?
I only hope it's more like Death Magnetic.
Yes.
I've heard people dislike that album. I loved it.
I think it's awesome.
I think it's absolutely awesome. I bought it on vinyl again the other day. So if it's more like that, I am extremely excited for that.
Yep. A lot of people bash Metallica. Some people are like black album on. They can't stand it. I'm a big fan of the Black Album. I even like Load for the most part. Reload, not so much. Saint Anger, no. But Death Magnetic, I felt they got back on track. Hopefully they stay on track. Have you heard that song they've been playing, Lords of Summer? Mm-hmm. It didn't really thrill me. I realize that I don't think it's a finished version. I think it's like a demo version, so maybe cleaned up and finished it'll sound better, but it did not really thrill me. It sounded like a leftover track from Death Magnetic that wasn't quite good enough to get on the album.
Now, and I don't see you have it on here. Also, with them writing stuff, did you see the other Metallica news that came out this week? As you know, Metallica records all their concerts.
Yes, that's right. I wanted to mention that.
They record all their concerts on, and they put them up for sale on livemetallica.com, if I'm correct, or metallicalive.com.
Yeah, like all the shows for 10 years. That's crazy.
Their live recordings, right off the soundboard, sound amazing.
Yep, we got...
Sound amazing. We got one from the show we went to.
Yep, that was awesome.
They sound amazing. I, as a fan, I've said it before, I'll say it again, as someone who loves live recordings, I was excited to learn that Metallica is releasing every concert from this summer as a 14-disc set. Or no, 27.
27 disc.
27-disc set. $430.
Yeah, or $19.81 each, which apparently... I'm guessing that's supposed to be 1981 when the band started, but hello, $19 for a CD? What are you, crazy?
And in December or January, I think they're taking the top five.
Top four.
Top four, is it? They're releasing them on vinyl.
Yep. I was telling my wife about that. I'm like, I don't know. First of all, based on the CD price, it's probably going to be really expensive. I might get one of them. I can't imagine getting all four.
That's what I was thinking too, because while they may vary a song or two a night, 90% of the set list
it's going to be the same.
Is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So
unless you are, and I have been that extreme of a Metallica fan in the, back in the 80s and early 90s, anything with Metallica on it, I would buy because it was not quite the marketing machine that it is now, and certainly nowhere near Kiss. But then all the bootlegs and stuff that started, I couldn't keep up. I gave up.
So I hope just some pretty cool packaging for that, but $400 some is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I don't need that much, and I don't want CDs. I'm like, give me the downloads. That's fine. There's only two formats that matter, digital and vinyl. CD.
So now with vinyl, we get the digital. So
exactly. That's like win-win. You've got the cool format with a portable digital. What do you need a CD for?
Good point.
Yeah, I think CDs are dead.
Even though the last CD I bought was a new Opeth to just boost their sales numbers, but that's just kind of like
Let's see
addict.
I wonder what Gene Simmons has to say on the CD format. Metallica's not the only one working on new material. Anthrax are writing for their next album. Frank Bello said that they've been writing some really fast, riff-oriented thrashing music for the new album. Says that he and Scott Ian, they've been shaking their wrists because they've been playing so fast, so that sounds promising.
Again, just like Metallica, Anthrax's last album, big fan of.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal.
That was like comeback of like eternity. That was like...
I remember when you first heard that, you're like, Buke, you need to go get this.
Yeah.
You need to hear this.
I was such a big Anthrax fan when Joey was in the band, and no disrespect at all to John Bush. I love Armored Saint, but it was not the same. And when Joey came back, it was the fulfillment of years and years of wishing and dreaming. I honestly did not think it would ever happen. It had been so long. And when it did, I just lost my shit. I was like, oh my God! And it was fucking amazing. And it still is just brilliant. So
yeah, we hope they can stay together and the infighting can kind of stay at, quiet.
It sounds like they've been getting along pretty well. So, maybe an older, mature, I mean, it's like 20 years ago that this happened. So hopefully everybody's a lot more mature and level-headed and getting along. It's going to be something to try and top that album.
Mm-hmm. Now, they just released a DVD Blu-ray of some songs from that album, too, this past week.
Speaking of DVD Blu-rays.
Coming out this week, one of my favorite bands, Between the Buried and Me, is releasing the Parallax Blu-ray. I believe they're playing parts 1 and 2, start to finish, in like a little cool studio environment. Yeah, I'm a big Between the Buried and Me fan.
That'll be cool.
So I'm really looking forward to checking that out.
Indeed. I guess I should have had you do that in the new releases, but since we're talking about DVD and Blu-ray, it was a nice little segue. So there's some other things coming out. The new Obituary, Inked in Blood, is coming out on October 28th.
Is this their Kickstarter album?
It is.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about Obituary more a little later, so I'll leave that where it is for now. But just know, October 28th, new Obituary, check it out. It is killer. I heard a couple tracks.
This is the next thing. Here's my second biggest news story since you were gone.
Yes. Bloodbath, when they came out with Michael Ackerfeld on vocals, they were killer.
One of the best albums I've ever got. Resurrection Through Carnage.
Yep, I love that album. Bloodbath was an amazing band. Mike left the band. Peter from Hypocrisy came in, did an album. Was it just one or is it two?
They did one.
Yeah.
Has Eaton on it.
And, he's cool too, but it wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same to me. And then Mike came back, and now Mike's gone again. And I was like, well, that's it for Bloodbath. I can't imagine, if they bring Peter back, whatever, or, I just don't see this carrying on. And then what do?
Yeah, I was glad you saw this. They brought in, go ahead,
Nick Holmes from Paradise Lost. You could not have surprised me more. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there was no ramblings of this.
It was just like, boom, by the way, Bloodbath, Nick Holmes, and my head exploded. I'm a huge Paradise Lost fan. Except for those middle years where they got a little strayed from the path. But the early years and the last, 5, 6, 7 years, love me some Paradise Lost.
I can't put my finger on his death metal vocals, though.
Oh, dude, you got to listen to the first couple Paradise albums. He, killer early death metal albums. And so it's like, wow. I know he's been doing some mixing up the harsh and clean vocals on the last few albums, but obviously he's going to be taking this to a whole new and different level, and I am so excited to hear what this is going to sound like.
They're playing Maryland Death Fest next year?
Yeah. And this album, called Grand Morbid Funeral, will be out on November 17th.
Only thing I can say is I'm glad we got to see Bloodbath with Mike.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was freaking
especially when we weren't expecting. We were hoping.
Yeah,
but
nobody knew it was going to happen. It was on a quick little side story here. George, every time Opeth comes around, I go see them live. George, most of the time, doesn't go with me, but this time he said he would.
I've been like 3-4 times.
Yeah, not of the 10 or so times I've seen them.
Yeah, I know.
Catatonia was opening for them. So
this was the show that we interviewed Mike.
Mm-hmm. Catatonia finishes their set. Opeth plays their set. Opeth finishes, and they bring on the members from Catatonia, and they do. Mike comes out and says, I guess you can call us Bloodbath now. Then they break into 2 or 3 Bloodbath songs, and the place was going nuts.
I was like goosebumps, like tears in my eyes.
George and I were on the top rail. We could shake the rail off. Our excitement.
I was videotaping the whole thing because we had my camera there to film the interview with Mike, and I had a press or a photo pass, and so I was allowed to take pictures. Apparently, I wasn't allowed to take video. Because somebody was like, tap, tap, tap. You're not shooting video, are you? I'm like, no. It's just photos. Because the band was apparently not too happy looking up on the balcony and seeing my camera. So sorry about that, Mike. I didn't post any of it.
But I can't believe when we did our top 3 or top 5 concert stories, I didn't mention that. That would have been in there.
Yeah, you're right.
That was epic.
Well, that's the thing, these lists that you put together. It's where you are at the time, It's always a shifting, changing sands of perception and preference.
But while you were gone, that was my second news story. And I can't believe we didn't even put on the notes for this week my number 1 story. How dare you?
Okay.
Go to your next news story, then I'll get to mine.
All right. Well, what I thought was the final news story for today was just another album release detail. The band The Crown is back, and they're releasing a new album in January called Death Is Not Dead. That makes me think of Punk's Not Dead. But I have to agree, I think Death Is Not Dead. It is definitely stale, but like with the new Obituary album, I think that sounds great. The new Cannibal Corpse sounds fucking great. There are still torchbearers for the genre. But again, I'm going to talk about death metal a little bit more later, which, wow, we've been talking a while already, and we haven't even gotten to the indie band yet. And we haven't even gotten to new releases yet. This is going to be a long episode, people. Buckle up, hit the bathroom, get some food. All right, so what is your news release?
I'm going to mention one quick little side story first. While we were out, it was announced that Shadows Fall called it quits.
Yeah.
I like them. They for what they were, people attach this new wave of American metal to them.
They were one of the ones that I liked.
They had a couple good albums. They were really good.
Yeah, I mean, they to me, they didn't make the same album twice. Mm-hmm. You know, every album you were like, what are they going to do now? And it was kind of different each time, so that was good.
Yeah. They called it quits. Chimera called it quits.
Yeah.
Chimera had a bunch of lineup changes over the years. So it's a shame to see both of those bands quit. They'll probably do what a lot of bands do. They'll probably be back in a couple years, hopefully.
Yeah. At least we still have All That Remains. They are all that remains.
But the big story that was announced while we were on a hiatus was Phil Anselmo announced the Hardcore Movie Festival that the glorious Superjoint Ritual is coming back.
Wah, 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 wah.
This makes me extremely happy.
This makes me extremely don't care.
I frickin' love these guys.
Yes, you do.
Oh, use once and destroy. The two albums they released are some of my favorite material Phil has released.
I probably should go back and listen again. I wasn't real fond of Down at the time either. I just remember that Superjoint Ritual's production sounded really bad.
It is, but it's raw aggression.
Yeah, so it's been years since I've listened to it. I probably should go back and listen again. I may change my tune.
So I have hopes that this is not a one-off, that the band's back together. You know, Bauer, Phil. It'd be great if Hank the Third is back in the group.
Don't we need like a third Down EP? Isn't that supposed to be coming?
We're not worried about that right now.
Get back to work on Down.
Superjoint Ritual is coming back, baby. This is the greatest news story of the whole year. This is second to Opeth releasing a new album, and to me, this is everything to me.
All I hear is blah, 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 no new Down.
Try and go back and listen to the first album for me.
I will.
So I'm extremely excited about this news. And the fact that you left it off shows how little you care about Buke's happiness.
No, it's because when I put this list together.
Nope. You're like,
it wasn't in the last.
No, to you, it wasn't news.
No, we had talked about it, and I just forgot to put it on the list.
I think actually, to quote you, I think I texted you. I said, dude, can you hear this news about Down? I think you texted me back, Z's. Or something.
Yes, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't put it on the list. I'm gonna bust on it, but I'm not gonna leave it off. I just forgot. When I was building the list for today, I really only went through the last week. You know, the Gene Simmons thing just hasn't died yet, so people were still talking about it, so I remembered to put that on the list. But I simply forgot to put it on there.
Every tour they came around, I saw them live. I am a huge Superjoint fan, so cannot wait.
He's got a little chubby going on right now. I can see it.
Superjoint
like a little
Ritual.
Guy. So going, hey, Superjoint.
Superjoint Ritual is coming back. If you're a fan of Superjoint Ritual and you agree with me and you can back me up on your excitement here, please.
Hashtag Superjoint Ritual, yes. If you're with me, hashtag Superjoint Ritual, no.
Asana, 4 songs. Oh, The Alcoholic. Just listen to those songs. Oh, man.
See?
They're back.
Anyway, I guess we better get to some new releases. There's not a whole lot. I had to combine this past week with this next week to have just a few to talk about. This past week, of course, as Will was mentioning, the new Cannibal Corpse, A Skeletal Domain, was released, and the peasants rejoiced. You would think by now, when we were talking about this, you would think that after all these albums, that Cannibal Corpse would just be like one trick pony, like, another Cannibal Corpse album that sounds the same. But honestly, when I was listening to it, I was like, it's different. There's something about it that makes it feel relatively fresh, and it's good.
Yeah. They have a book coming out, I think, too.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to read that. Another album coming out this coming week is our friends from Baltimore, Charm City Devils, and their third album, Battles.
Hard rock.
Yeah, this isn't really what you call metal. It's more of a old school hard rock sound, but, they're good. Mm-hmm. And
if you want someone to put on with other people who might not be metalheads, if you want to stream it on Spotify, buy it. This is...
If you like old school AC/DC kind of music, this is a good band to check out. They've been making the rounds these last couple of months, actually.
With
touring,
Slash.
Yeah, with Slash, with the Winery Dogs. And they just played a show with Avatar the other day, and I think actually they're playing again tonight with Avatar. So yeah, check these guys out. Charm City Devils, Battles.
Did our friends we know in the band, did they meet Portnoy?
Yeah.
Did they?
Oh yeah.
Say how he is?
Yeah, they said he was great.
Okay, because I've always wondered, pompous?
No, well, everybody has their moments.
Yeah.
But, they were saying how Slash was really cool, really nice guy.
I've heard.
Which, it seems like he is.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that they liked Avatar, or at least my friend did, because they're kind of heavy. I mean, I was going to talk about this later, but I might as well talk about it now. The latest Avatar album, the fifth album, Hail the Apocalypse, came out like in May. And it's kind of nu metal. I think it sounds like a cross between Slipknot and Marilyn Manson. And I was listening to it, and it's pretty good for what it is. As soon as I said that I was liking it, and it was this kind of music, you jumped all over me. You're like, what? Commercial music, George? No, I don't understand. And so I want to clarify, it's not that I have a problem with commercial music. It's that commercial music tends to not be good. If you can make a commercial sounding metal that is relevant and original and contributes something new, I'm willing to give it a listen. The problem is, and your comparison was Woven War, that I don't like Woven War. I'm like, to me, Woven War are good musicians. They have good recordings. Doesn't really bring anything new to the table for me. And so I'm like, meh, yeah, good, but doesn't really give me the little chub. This Avatar album, I was like, wow, this is what Marilyn Manson should be doing now. I went back and looked, and Marilyn Manson has not released an album that I liked since 2000's Hollywood. That was pre 9/11 that Marilyn Manson released something good and relevant. I was like, wow, I didn't think it had been quite that long. But yeah, listening to this album, Marilyn Manson needs to listen to Avatar and go, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Because personally, I think it's pretty badass.
But you talk about commercial. Marilyn Manson is all commercial now. Wouldn't you say?
That he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, and but that's not his problem. He's always been commercial, but the first two albums were amazing. And they were commercial. They were, when he first came out, it was like, ooh, it was scary. But, it was always commercial.
Why is it that commercial is so popular? Accessible?
The problem with commercial is that it's dumbed down.
Like Five Finger Death Punch.
Yes. Their first album was brilliant. Second album was pretty good. I haven't really listened to much after that. But the problem with commercial isn't that commercial is inherently bad. It's that commercial is dumbed down for the most common listener, okay? To appeal to the most amount of people. That's what it is. That's the whole idea behind being commercial.
If you're that middle schooler or you're that 40-year-old guy, drinking beers at home.
Exactly. And
this rocks.
Things get lost in that process of commercializing it. And so that commercial type of music tends to not be something that I would like. But you can write in a style that is accessible and still be heavy and make good music. It just doesn't happen very often.
Would you call Slipknot commercial now?
Yes. I didn't.
I was just trying to gauge,
Oh, I mean, they're totally. If you ask most of the kids in America, what's heavy metal? They'll go Slipknot.
Yep.
The first Slipknot album intrigued me. There were some songs that I liked, but it was definitely nu metal. Second album, didn't like it all. Third album, didn't like it all. Fourth album, I felt they started to find their own personality. I was like, they got away from the sound of the nu metal. It's still kind of commercial sounding, but it's more interesting. And I'm curious about the new album coming out. I've heard a couple songs, and I'm still on the fence on, I need to listen to the whole album to get a feel for it.
They just released their new masks, too. Getting their hype ready for the new album.
Yep, I saw that. So, I don't know. I think you should check out Avatar. There's a new Iron Reagan album called Tyranny of Will. We just saw these guys at the Barbecue. Have you heard this one?
Yeah, I checked it out. It's minute and a half, 2 minute.
More of the same.
Yeah, aggression.
Yeah. These are one of the bands that can keep making the same album over and over again. And because of the style of music it is, it's good, you know.
What's his name, the vocalist again?
Tony Foresta from Municipal Waste.
He's cool.
He's awesome.
I like his voice.
Yeah,
so. He was on the Josta show. Really cool guy. Really excited just to be putting stuff out.
Excellent. So another album coming out this week is a band called Sons of Crom, and their album Riddle of Steel. I believe these guys are Swedish. I forgot to look it up. It's sort of doomy, sort of deathy. Obviously, with the name like Sons of Crom, Riddle of Steel, it's slightly Conan the Barbarian influenced. I haven't listened to the whole album yet, but from what I've heard, I kind of liked it, so I'm going to check it out some more. All right, we are pretty far along in terms of time, but we still have not gotten to the indie band for this week, so why don't we get to that? This is a band from Australia and New Zealand. I heard about them online, I don't know, a week or two ago. I wrote to them and said, hey, can we play on the podcast? They said, hell yeah, you can play us on the podcast. So this is the band called Orphans of Dusk. And last month, they released their debut 4-song EP called Revenant. I listened to these guys and I was like, wow. You know, before I even looked at their page to look at their influences, I was like, Typo Negative. And then I was like, wow, Woods of Ypres. Totally Woods of Ypres. And then like a death metal, death doom element. Initially, I told you I was like Opeth, like early Opeth kind of, you know. And then I went to their Facebook page and I looked on the About and I was like, influences, Typo Negative, Woods of Ypres. I'm like, wow. Dude, I called it, did I not? So honestly, I am pretty infatuated with this EP. I played you a little bit yesterday. What did you think?
I liked it a lot. Just like you said, the Typo Negative sound really does come through. But then the heavier vocals from Woods.
Well, the clean vocals from Woods as well. There's harsh vocals and there's clean vocals. Except the harsh vocals are real kind of like death doom. The music's really slow and doomy. It's heavy. There's cleaner passages of you know, cleaner guitars and keyboards and whatnot, you know. And then there's clean vocals. Some of them remind me of Peter Steele. Some of them remind me of David Gold. I was like, wow. So I am really digging this. So why don't you check out a song from the album? This is called August Price. All right. That was Orphans of Dusk and August Price off their 4-song debut EP, Revenant. Pretty badass.
Great pick.
Stick around to the end of the show and we will play you another track from the EP. All right, why don't we get into our top 3? This week, Buke suggested we do the top 3 Megadeth albums.
Don't know why it came to me. I was listening to Megadeth the other day.
It's a good one. I was surprised we hadn't done it yet. I mean, we did Metallica, we did Slayer.
I think my number 3 is going to be a little curveball for you. You know, I go a little wacky. You know,
you do.
You know, since I'm a younger guy, my diving in point is a little different than yours.
Don't even say that it was, God, what was the last one?
No, Endgame.
Endgame, yeah, I thought it was Endgame.
No, was it number something 13 or something?
I thought
like
that was before. I
I
haven't listened to
junk crap.
The last good one that I liked was United Abominations. That was a real return for them.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3. You want to guess?
No idea.
Cryptic Writings.
Okay, I can get that. That was a really good album.
Yeah. Trust.
Yeah.
When that song starts in.
I've been hearing that a lot lately. That's probably why you just.
When I was thinking this list, just just catchy.
Yeah, I saw them on that tour when Misfits opened.
Number 2, Peace Sells. Because the classic Wake Up Dead is on there. That song's great. My favorite song off the album. And number 1, I can listen to this album start to finish. Holy Wars is on it. Rust in Peace.
Rust in Peace. Hell yeah. That's kind of what I was expecting. Yeah, it's a little curveball there with the number 3, but again, not unexpected because it is a great album. My top 3, number 3, Peace Sells. That was the first Megadeth album I heard. This is the first Megadeth shirt this is my first metal t-shirt ever, was a white Peace Sells t-shirt that I ordered from Metal Disc catalog. Like it was a paper, like Xeroxed mail order catalog that I sent away for out of the back of a magazine. And it was like in the back of Hit Parader or something. And I ordered the Peace Sells album cover on a white t-shirt. Didn't understand the concept back then. And or maybe it just didn't come in black. I don't know. It came and my mom got the mail and she saw that and she was like, "You cannot wear this."
It's not bad.
It's like it's
a little guy holding, right?
Yeah, it's just like the skulls and stuff. Yeah. Megadeth, and that's the 80s for you. So Peace Sells. I remember that was like my freshman year of high school or something like that. Great album. It's a classic today.
Now, at the time, quickly, was there a time when you said that was your first album? Was the talk coming up that, hey, former Metallica member?
I don't remember if I knew that at the time. I think I did.
I don't know if they're using that as like a marketing
thing. I did. I think they had said, I'm sure they were using it as marketing, whether I knew it or not, because there was no internet back then.
Yeah.
Whether I read about it ahead of time or if I just picked it up because it looked cool, I do not recall. But shortly thereafter, I did find out about it, and there's the whole Metallica Megadeth feud, and, whatever. I always liked both bands. I never really took a side in that one. Anyway, my number 2, maybe this will be a curveball for you, is Euthanasia.
Yes.
I love that one. Train of Consequences, Reckoning Day.
I'm listening to that leaving. I love that song.
Addicted to Chaos, Et tu le monde, Elysian Fields.
Man, that's good.
Blood of Heroes. That album was just fucking badass. Oh, and what's the song at the end? Victory. That was a really good one, too. So, yeah, that is my number 2.
Euthanasia, it released in 94. Wow, then they had a break till Cryptic Writings for a number of years.
You probably toured the shit out of it.
Reckoning Day, Train of Consequences, Addicted to Chaos, Toot, Elysian Fields, The Killing Road, Blood of Heroes, Family Tree, Euthanasia.
Oh, Family Tree, yeah, that was another good one.
Euthanasia, I Thought I Knew It All, Black Curtains.
I Thought I Knew It All. That's another one that that's some of those songs I listen to when I'm down.
And Victory.
My number 1, you can probably guess, Rest in Peace. I was a little conflicted on this list. If I could have a number 4, I would go with So Far So Good So What, because it has my favorite Megadeth song, In My Darkest Hour, as the most depressing song ever. And, I used to listen to that all the time. That song got me through so many dark times. But, it just didn't quite squeeze into the list. Rust in Peace has my second favorite song on it, Tornado of Souls. That is another song that I listen to when I'm just like, I'm in the eye of the tornado. I'm having a shit day. I'm just like, I need Tornado of Souls. You know, fucking badass song. But yeah, obviously, Holy Wars.
What's your favorite song off that album?
Tornado of
Is
Souls.
it Tornado?
Of course. Or,
Over Holy Wars. Wow.
Or what's the other one? The Alien one? Hangar 18.
Yep.
Yeah, that's some good stuff on there. So definitely rest in peace.
Can we put in an asterisk? And you and I both will agree on this. Album wasn't even released by them. The Last Action Hero soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
for Angry Again.
Angry Again. Love that song.
Man.
Engaged in crime, I grasp my throat.
Man, that chorus.
And rage, my mind starts to smoke.
Man.
Fucking killer.
That's a great song.
Love you, Dave.
Yep.
Even if you are a little cuckoo.
Oh, the last Megadeth album that we couldn't think of, Super Collider.
That's right. Not so super. It's all right. We still love you, Dave. You know who else we love? We got a little bit of love for the MetalSucks podcast guys.
Yes, these guys are awesome.
We were talking earlier about how we had our little month off and how people were probably sitting around waiting for a new podcast. Once a week is not enough for me for the MetalSucks podcast. I want to listen to those guys every day.
Yes.
You know, I really love what they do.
Guys, we love you to death. How about maybe moving the interview to... Now I'll leave a voicemail on your guys' voice line.
I wanted to do that. I wanted to do like, hello, and, you know, make some sort of jokey thing, but like real, you know, like
move
something.
The interview to the second half of the show and talk more, guys. You guys are great.
Yeah, the interviews are good, but they take up too much. I want more.
Yes, we want more of you guys.
And to give them some credit, lately they have been adding new segments. They got the Doc Coyle thing, which is awesome. Doc is great. And they just had the one with Atlas Moth Guy.
The story time with him.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So, you know, I think they're filling it out a little bit, and
we will have them on before this year's up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just have not had time to figure out how to, you know, route in other people. Hey, you know, Chuck, if you could shoot me an email, george@metaldisciple.com, let me know how it is you guys record your interviews. I'll get on that.
And then we'll have you guys on.
Yeah, I just haven't had time to figure out how to do it yet. You know, we've got two mics running into a 2-input Mackie Blackjack that runs into the computer, and I'm like, well, how do I get a Skype or something? I tried it once, and there was so much lag that, you know, it recorded the call, but my microphone was lagging, and the latency was just terrible. So I haven't quite mastered that yet. But anyway, I'm sure if you're listening to us, you've probably heard of these guys, because these guys show us how it's done. But for some reason you haven't listened to the MetalSucks podcast yet, get on it. All right. Speaking of new segments, I had an idea for one. Being that I'm a little bit older than Buke, I have a more vast library of knowledge. Not knowledge, but like experience. And, you know, I've got another 10, 15 years of listening than you do. So I'm always like, hey, what about this band? And you'll be like, oh, I don't really know them. Or worse, I don't really like them.
I listen, yep, but my patience. When I hear something I don't like, it kind of resonates with me at first. Now, I will admit, I put my foot in my mouth a couple of times, like with Ahab. Now I love them.
Yep. So this new piece is me trying to convince Buke that something that he doesn't currently like is something that he should like. This is called Convincing Buke. It's funny, when I was trying to think of a name for it, and I was like, Converting Buke. I'm like, no, that doesn't sound good at all. What about educating Buke? That doesn't sound quite right either. Again, Convincing Buke could go the wrong way too, but we'll just call it Convincing Buke. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick a band.
This is the what? Really, Buke?
Yeah, I'm like, what? You don't know. I'm like, you got to listen to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a band, and I'm going to tell him 3 songs that he needs to listen to.
I will listen to them.
And I'm going to put those 3 songs, I'll grab like YouTube videos, and I'll post them to the Metal Disciple Facebook page. So if y'all want to listen to them as well, y'all.
So he's educating everybody as well.
I'm educating everybody else as well. So you can follow along. And basically, I'm going to try and convince him this episode. Next episode, when we come back, he has to have listened to the songs. And then he has to come back with either, this is why I like it now, or this is why I still don't like it. This week's band, if you can believe it,
I should really never do a podcast again with this one's about to hit you,
is Motorhead. Lemmy is God. Do you realize that? Lemmy is God.
Yeah.
But you don't really like Motorhead. And, you know, Motorhead can be an acquired taste. I understand that. But you got to get past that. And everybody knows Ace of Spades. I've heard Ace of Spades so many times that, whatever, I don't want to hear Ace of Spades anymore. I don't care. But there are other albums, other songs, they don't all sound the same, despite what people might think.
I've heard Ace of Spades and Orgasmatron.
Yeah. Okay, well, this isn't my first Motorhead album. It was probably like my third or fourth Motorhead album. It's 1916. But this was the tour that I saw Motorhead on. It was for the Operation Rock and Roll tour during Desert Storm. It was like 91, somewhere around there. And this was the first time I saw Motorhead when they were touring 1916. And Lemmy blew me away on stage. I was like, oh my God, I got goosebumps. I was like, wow. And so the song that did it for me when I saw him live was Love Me Forever off of 1916. So that's one of the songs you're going to be listening to today. That's track 6 off of the album.
Okay.
Track 3 is called No Voices in the Sky. This is another song that it's not typical Motorhead. It's definitely not Ace of Spades. People don't give Lemmy enough credit. Everybody's just like, oh, it's Lemmy, he's God. And either they like him without thinking about it, or they don't like it because they've heard a couple songs and they're like, whatever. But the Motorhead catalog is really pretty diverse. And 1916 is way different than like the early albums and stuff. The third track from the album is the title track. It's the last track on the album, 1916. This isn't even really a metal song. It's like all like keyboards, orchestral type stuff, and Lemmy singing in a soft, clear voice as portraying a soldier from the First World War, a young man. He's probably not even old enough to be in the military, faked his name and got in, and he's in battle about to die, talking about his buddies around him dying. And it is so poignant and beautiful that you might not even be like, that's Motorhead? Holy crap. And this song tears me up. I listen to this like every Memorial Day. I listen to 1916 because it's just a beautiful song by Motorhead. So
I have my assignment.
You have your assignment. We'll meet back next episode, see what happens.
And this will be a running thing for us because I have a lot of music that I need to...
Yeah, black metal is what inspired this. I was like, what? We need to get you on some black metal. Ultimately, I want to get you on Dark Throne. I think we're going to have to ease into that one backwards. It's going to take a little doing.
But I give you my word, I will listen to these.
All right. So, what are you listening to this week?
This is the Eugene, Oregon doom band called YOB. In their 2014 release, this came out last week on vinyl, if I'm correct, Clearing the Path to Ascend. This is so far my album of the year. It's doom. It's a lot of different sounds. It's really hard to kind of... I'm at a loss for words right now trying to get the different sounds that they hit on, but...
They do like really long songs. It's just really long doom. Not like traditional doom. It's a little more sludgy. Mm-hmm. I've never been a big fan. I mean, I listened to them years ago, so it wasn't, wasn't really my thing back then. I tried listening to this one to see if I changed my mind, and not really. I mean, it's okay. It just didn't do anything. I maybe didn't listen to it enough.
Yeah.
But thus far, not so much.
The album starts, you just hear a voice. Now, I hope I say it correctly. It says, "Time to wake up," or something like that. And it's just, the doom sludgy just starts slowly creeping in, and it just captured me right from the start. Gorgeous album art, too, on it. So, that's what I'm listening to this week.
Right on.
Maybe if I listen to the new Opeth more, I'll come back to you with that. But
yeah, I was wondering how that was going. You said that it was growing on you a little bit.
I need another listen.
All right. Yeah, I've been wanting to give it a listen on vinyl, now that I have the vinyl, see if it does anything for me, but I haven't had a chance to yet. So what I've been listening to this week is an album that it just came out, though I had the promo for a couple of weeks, but it like slipped through the cracks. My friend Josh asked me about it and reminded me, so thank you, Josh. This is the new album from Crimson Shadows called Kings Among Men. This is a Canadian battle Viking death power band. It's their second album. It's a really fun and energetic listen.
Now you're talking.
It's like melodic death metal meets power metal. The songs are, fast and like energetic, catchy, melodic, but with melodic death metal harsh vocals mixed with clean melodic vocals as well. Have you heard these guys before?
No, but you're talking directly to me with this.
When I was listening to it, I was like, oh, Buke's going to like this. So make sure to check these guys out. Crimson Shadows, Kings Among Men. All right, well, what's your classic for this week?
Does the name Matthew Hopkins ring a bell?
Matthew Hopkins, Witchfinder.
You got that right, brother.
You going Cathedral?
I am. 1995 Cathedral, their album, The Carnival Bazaar.
That's my favorite Cathedral album.
This is just right where I'm at right now, and I probably couldn't do it as justice like you could describing it, but it's
good.
It is just a great little, sludgy stoner album out
She
there.
is a witch.
It's just a great fun out.
That's Vincent Price, by the way, that does that little intro bit. The great Vincent Price.
Yeah, great album though.
Yeah, I need to show you the poster I have in my closet. I haven't. It's still in the packaging. I got it on eBay. It's the album artwork. It's like one of the store promo posters.
Okay.
It's
this album.
From this album, yeah. It's so very detailed. All the little artwork on it, all the people on it and stuff. It's not quite full poster size, but it's pretty badass. And I saw that. I was like, oh, I got to put that up.
So if you've never heard Cathedral and you're into the, stoner type of, not sludgy stuff like that, it's not real sludgy, but I can't even describe it really, right?
I bet Will likes Cathedral. And Will, if you haven't listened to Cathedral yet, you should.
Mm-hmm. Would you maybe describe it any other way that I can't put my finger on?
No, I mean, Lee Dorian used to be in Napalm Death back in the day. And so Cathedral was a pretty big change for what he was doing from Napalm Death to doom metal. I mean, the early Cathedral albums still had really harsh vocals. Well, not really harsh, but kind of harsh.
Yeah.
But they sort of evolved into, what they became by Carnival Bazaar. And unfortunately, they have retired.
You made my whole day when you knew that name.
Oh, yeah.
Now, did you listen to the band Witchfinder General from back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got, which one is it? Remember which one it is? I have one of them on vinyl.
Is it the one where the
Death
girls
Penalty?
like laying
I
in
think
the
it's Death Penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great album.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm listening to this week. It's this. You guys can see the past couple weeks I've been in this kind of genre, kind of riding these waves. So it's right where I'm at right now.
Right on. Well, I've been in the doom sludge thing for a while, and I'm still into that quite heavily. Recently, as in like a week or two ago, I shifted gears slightly. I wasn't actually originally going to mention this, but what started it was instrumental metal stuff, particularly Russian Circles. I was listening to that and I was like, wow, this is cool. It's like heavy and sludgy, but there's no words and it's just kind of relaxing and I don't know, it was cool. And so I started like listening, I'm not a big instrumental music fan. When I think instrumental metal, I think like Marty Friedman, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, that sort of, like really technical stuff. And while there was a time that I loved that, it's just not something I really listen to now. But this is not quite like that. This is much more ethereal and it's just cool. But that wasn't the album that I wanted to mention this week. That led me to, for whatever reason, to listen to some old school death metal. In particular, Obituary. And that is my classic for the week, is Obituary's first album, Slowly We Rot. We have both in the past said we do not like Obituary.
The guy's voice was like,
I never liked his voice. I liked other death metal bands from the time, but I never liked it. And I was, for whatever reason, I started going back and listening to all the old death metal albums. I mean, like late 80s, early 90s stuff. Obituary, Cancer, Disincarnate, Morbid Angel, like, Altars of Madness. And I was like, death metal. People complained that death metal got old and stale and, well, death metal doesn't sound like this anymore. I was like, wow, this really was different for the time. I didn't get it at the time because I wasn't quite into harsh vocals when this stuff first came out. But listening back now, I'm like, this is really good. Yeah. Obviously, it must have been because people really dug it.
I should take your advice here, if you're listening to this, because I like Resurrection Through Carnage from Bloodbath so much. Uh-huh. And you always, when you got hooked on that, you said this was a great return to old death metal form.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go back and do the same as you.
Totally listen to...
I will come back and listen to
Slowly We Rot.
I will.
I already ordered it on vinyl. I'm like, I gotta have this on vinyl. It is good. And, I mentioned the new album coming out, and I listened to 2 of the tracks off that, and I'm like, this is really good. For whatever reason, his voice used to grate on me, but now his voice sounds unique to me. I'm like, oh, this is good. It does not sound like everybody else doing death metal now.
I remember I got a Roadrunner. You know how for a while the Roadrunner on CDs was releasing 2 classic albums together on the CD or like a double? I got Obituary, Slowly Rewrite, and the one after this.
Yeah.
It was one of those listens, not for me. Huh. So I'll go back and
Yeah, definitely check it out.
And they just had a massive Kickstarter campaign for their new album that you mentioned.
Inked in Blood.
Yeah, it raised like 60,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until after it had closed. I was like, oh man, I would have totally backed this. But I went to the page and, it raised like a ton more than they were looking for. So that's cool.
So maybe if you and I both really start getting back into that now, we can go check them out at Empire.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd like to go to that. I want to see that Exodus show too. I really want to see Exodus. I've never seen Exodus, and to see them it just never, worked out. I mean, to see them with Zetro would be awesome. So hopefully we can get to that. All right. Well, it's been a rather long show, but I think we're nearing the end finally. You got anything else?
Just want to say thanks, as always, for putting this all together for us. Thanks for your schedule slowing down. Hell, I'm the one with the baby.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's supposed to be derailing this.
Yeah. Well, you can blame me this time.
Nope, nothing else. Again, just follow us on Twitter at OpethFan. He's at Disciple of OV Metal and at Metalheads Pod.
Check us out on the MetalDisciple.com Facebook. Of course, MetalDisciple.com itself for news, reviews, and videos.
Tell your friends.
Yeah. There's you can check us out on YouTube. Podcast is up there. All the other videos that I did. Those horrible, horrible songs that I recorded. So yeah, check us out on all those places. You can always email us, George at wearemetalheads.com.
Buke.
Or at wearemetalheads.com, rather. All right, well, that's it for this week. Let's close things out with another song from Orphans of Dusk. This is the last track on their 4-song EP. This is called Beneath the Cover of Night.